by him were all things created. Colossians 1:16. All doesn't mean all. Trinitarianism attempts to obstruct the correct understanding of the verse by arguing that if Jesus created all things, then he himself could not have been created. The idea here is that since only God is eternal and uncreated, Jesus must be God. Absolute versus limited all. Quote, all is frequently used for some or most. Young's Analytical Concordance of the Bible, 1978. Scripture often uses all in a limited sense. For example, 1 John 2:20 says that Christians know all things, but no Christian knows all things. Here, all is used in a limited sense. By God's grace, Christians know all things that they need to know, not all things which are possible to know. Other examples include, quote, then went out to him all Judea, Matthew 3:5, but not every Jew went out to him. Quote, all things are lawful unto me, 1 Corinthians 6:1, but murder is not lawful unto him. Quote, thou knowest all things, John 16:30, but Jesus did not know who touched him, Luke 8:45, nor when he would return, Mark 13:32. No power over God. Another example of this idea is found in Matthew 28:18, where Jesus said, quote, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. This is a good example of Scripture itself explaining that all is sometimes used in a limited sense, for we are later told, quote, when he, Jesus, saith all things are put under him, it is manifest, obvious, that he, God, is accepted, which did put all things under him. 1 Corinthians 15:27. In other words, when Jesus said, all power is given to me, it was to be understood that this did not include power over the one who empowered him. Clearly, when Jesus said all power was given to him, he was using all in a limited sense. All other. In cases where all is used in a limited sense, translators will sometimes add the word other. Ezekiel 31 likens Assyria to a cedar tree, saying his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. All here does not include the Assyrian cedar tree itself, and so for clarity, the NEB, REB, NJB, NAB, etc. add other, quote, all other trees. 1 Corinthians 15:24 says that Jesus, quote, shall have put down all rule and authority and power. Of course, this does not include God's authority and power. An American translation, the Common Bible, the Amplified Bible, the 20th Century New Testament, and translations by C.V. Williams, Moffat, Beck, and Weymouth add other, quote, when he will put an end to all other government authority and power. Non-Trinitarianism contends that several scriptures, Revelation 3:14, Psalms 2:7, Colossians 1:15, Micah 5:2, etc., reveal Jesus to have been created, and that accordingly Colossians 1:16, John 1:3, etc., are intended to convey the idea that God created all other things through the agency of his first begotten, first created Son. Returning to Colossians 1:16, The Greek for Colossians 1:16 is en auto, in him. Strong's Greek dictionary says that en, number 1722, quote, denotes by implication instrumentality. It is variously translated in him, ASV, RSV, YLT, etc., in connection with him, CJB, REV, etc., through him, GNT, Phillips, NLT, etc. Quote, in him is a common expression in Paul's writings used to describe God's actions brought about in union with Christ or in connection with Christ. REV commentary. Summary. Colossians presents Jesus and God as two different persons. Jesus is never called creator in Scripture. Many scriptures depict Jesus as the agent of God's creation, and many Christian commentators acknowledge that he is. Many alternate translations of 1 Corinthians 8:6 unambiguously depict Jesus as the agent of God's creation. All is often used in a limited sense. All things created by Jesus does not necessarily mean that Jesus himself was not also created. Conclusion. Colossians 1:16 does not intend to say that Jesus is the creator God, but that he is the agent in, by, or through whom God created.